Anna tightened her scarf as she stepped out of the small car. Snowflakes fell gently, covering the pine trees in soft white. The mountain air was cold, but fresh, and it made her cheeks pink. She looked up at the cabin ahead. It was small and wooden, with smoke curling from the chimney. For weeks, she had imagined this place a quiet retreat to think, paint, and escape the busy city life. Carrying her bag carefully, Anna walked along the snowy path. The snow crunched under her boots, and each step echoed in the still forest. She reached the cabin door and knocked softly. No answer. She tried the handle, and it turned easily. Inside, the cabin smelled of wood and faint pine. A fire had been left in the stove, warm but dying. She shook off her coat and set down her bag. The storm clouds outside were thickening. Snow was falling faster now, and the wind whispered through the trees. Anna checked the windows. Already, the world outside was turning white. A shiver ran through her. She hoped she had enough supplies for a few days if the storm grew stronger. As she unpacked, a knock came from the door. Anna froze. She hadn't expected anyone else here. Slowly, she opened it. A man stood there, tall and sturdy, with a kind face and soft brown eyes. His coat was thick, dusted with snow, and he held a small bundle of firewood. "Hello," he said, his voice calm. "I didn't expect anyone here. I'm Liam. I check cabins in this area before storms." Anna smiled nervously. I just arrived. I'm Anna. I'll be staying for a few days." Liam nodded and stepped inside, brushing snow from his coat. "The storm is coming fast. You might want some help getting settled. It's safer if you're not alone in this weather." Anna hesitated. She had wanted solitude, but something about his calm presence made her relax. "Thank you," she said. "That would be nice." Liam set the firewood near the stove and bent to light it. The flames flickered and grew, casting warm light across the room. Anna pulled her chair closer to the fire, watching the way the orange light danced on the wooden walls. Liam worked quietly, arranging logs and making sure the cabin was warm enough. After a while, Liam straightened and smiled. "It should be cozy now. The storm may trap us here for a day or two. I'll make sure you have everything you need." Anna nodded, feeling a mix of relief and nervous curiosity. "I didn't expect company," she admitted. Liam shrugged lightly. "Neither did I. But sometimes, a little company makes the storm easier to face." He glanced at her painting supplies on the table. "Are you an artist?" "Yes," Anna said softly. "I paint landscapes mostly. I wanted to capture the mountains in winter." Liam smiled, leaning against the wall. "I've seen a lot of storms and snow here, but the mountains have a way of surprising even me. I'd love to see your work sometime." The snow outside grew heavier. Anna looked out the window, watching the white world unfold. The wind made the trees bend, and the forest seemed alive with movement. Inside, the cabin was quiet except for the crackling fire. For a moment, Anna felt the calm she had been searching for. Liam moved around the cabin, checking doors and windows. "Better safe than sorry," he said, his voice friendly but serious. Anna noticed how carefully he moved, how he seemed to understand the forest and snow better than anyone she had met. As evening came, Anna poured them each a cup of cocoa. The warmth spread through her hands, through her chest, and a little smile appeared on her face. Liam took a sip and nodded in appreciation. "This is good," he said simply. Then, after a pause, he added, I think we'll get along just fine while the storm is here. Anna looked at him and felt a strange sense of comfort. She had come to the mountains seeking silence and reflection, and now, with Liam nearby, it didn't feel like an intrusion. It felt safe, warm. Something like the first page of a story she wanted to live. Outside, snow continued to fall, piling higher against the cabin. Inside, Anna and Liam settled near the fire. Words came slowly, stories of life in the mountains, of city life, of dreams. And as the storm began to rage, Anna realized that perhaps this winter retreat would be different than she had expected. The snowbound cabin, she thought, might not only be a place for her art, it might also be a place where something new could begin. The storm outside grew stronger as evening fell. Snow piled high against the cabin walls, and the wind howled through the trees like a restless river. Inside, the fire crackled warmly, and the cabin felt safe and small, a little world apart from the raging weather. Anna moved closer to the fire, pulling her blanket tighter around her shoulders. She had been nervous when Liam arrived, but now his calm presence was comforting. He moved around the cabin, checking the woodpile and making sure everything was secure. Every so often, he glanced at Anna with a small, gentle smile, and she felt a warmth in her chest she couldn't explain. "I think the storm will keep us here for the night," Liam said quietly, sitting down in the chair across from her. "It's better to stay inside than risk the snow. These mountains can be unpredictable." Anna nodded, stirring her cup of cocoa slowly. "I didn't expect to be snowbound, but it's kind of nice," she admitted. "It's peaceful, in a strange way." Liam chuckled softly. "Peaceful, yes. Quiet, yes. But the mountains always remind you they're in charge. You have to respect the weather." For a while, they just sat in silence, listening to the storm outside and the fire inside. The shadows of the flames danced across the walls, creating shapes that seemed alive. Anna found herself studying Liam's face in the flickering light, the way his eyes softened when he spoke, the careful movements of his hands as he adjusted the fire. "You've been here a long time?" she asked after a while. "Yes," Liam replied. "I grew up not far from here. My family has lived in these mountains for generations. I know the snow and the trees. I know how the storms move. It's comforting, in a way, to be close to this land." Anna smiled softly. "I wish I could say the same. I've always lived in the city. I came here for inspiration, to paint, but the mountains are more than I imagined." Liam nodded. "The mountains have a way of surprising you. They're quiet when you think they're calm, and loud when you least expect it. But they have a beauty you can't find anywhere else." Anna's fingers traced the edge of her blanket. "I want to capture it in my paintings. The snow, the wind, the way the light falls on the trees." Her voice softened as she spoke. "It's hard to describe, but it feels alive." Liam leaned back in his chair, watching her. "You'll do it justice, I'm sure. You have a good eye. And maybe, the storm won't feel so lonely if you have someone to share it with." Anna looked at him, surprised by the gentle tone in his voice. She realized he wasn't trying to intrude, he was simply being kind, offering company in a quiet, unobtrusive way. She felt a small spark of gratitude, and maybe something more, flutter inside her. The wind rattled the windows, and the snow began to fall heavier, clinging to the roof and piling along the edges of the cabin. Outside, the world disappeared into white, and inside, the cabin became their little sanctuary. Liam fetched another log and added it to the fire, the flames jumping higher and casting a golden glow across the room. Anna picked up her sketchbook and began to draw. Her pencil moved slowly, carefully capturing the flicker of firelight on the walls, the patterns of the shadows, and the quiet figure of Liam across the room. He glanced up at her occasionally, offering small, encouraging nods, but otherwise gave her space. Hours passed quietly, with small conversations about life, art, and the mountains. Anna shared stories of her childhood winters, while Liam told tales of past storms, of snowbound travelers, and of quiet moments spent alone in the forest. They laughed softly at some stories, nodded thoughtfully at others, and the hours slipped by unnoticed. By the time the storm reached its peak, Anna realized she no longer felt anxious or alone. The fear she had felt arriving at the cabin had melted away, replaced by something warmer: connection, trust, and the comforting presence of another human being. She glanced at Liam and saw him watching the fire with the same quiet reflection. The storm outside roared, but inside, the cabin was calm. Anna felt a strange excitement mixed with contentment. For the first time in a long while, she felt that being snowbound could be something more than inconvenient. It could be the beginning of a story she hadn't expected, a story shared with someone who understood, without words, what it meant to be truly present in the moment. And as the night deepened, with snow piling higher and wind still howling, Anna and Liam sat near the fire, two strangers brought together by a storm, slowly discovering that even in isolation, hearts could reach toward each other. The storm had softened by morning, but the world outside was still buried under thick layers of snow. Sunlight struggled to peek through the clouds, casting a pale, silver light across the trees. Inside the cabin, the fire burned low, and the air smelled faintly of pine and melted snow. Anna stretched, feeling a little stiff from sleeping in the small cabin. She looked around and noticed a small sketchbook tucked under a chair. Curious, she picked it up and opened it. The pages were filled with drawings of the cabin, the mountains, and snow-covered trees. Someone had clearly spent hours capturing the beauty of this place. "These are beautiful," she whispered to herself. Liam, who had been tending the fire, glanced over. "Ah, you found it? That sketchbook has been here for a while. Someone stayed in this cabin last winter and left it behind." Anna smiled softly, turning the pages. Each drawing showed care and a deep love for the mountains. "It makes me feel nostalgic," she said quietly. "I used to spend winters with my family in a cabin like this when I was a child. Seeing these sketches brings back memories I hadn't thought of in years." Liam nodded, settling into his chair. "Memories can be powerful. They stay with you, even when life moves on. Sometimes, sharing them helps." Anna hesitated, then decided to tell him. "I used to paint in the snow, try to capture the sunlight on trees. I loved those winters, but life got busy, and I stopped going." Liam listened quietly, his expression soft. "I understand," he said. "I lost my parents when I was young. The mountains were my comfort, my safe place. I spent hours exploring the forests, watching storms, and learning the ways of the snow. They remind me of what I still have, what I can protect, and what I can cherish." Anna's eyes softened as she looked at him. There was something about the way he spoke: gentle, honest, patient. She felt a connection forming, a sense that this man understood the quiet parts of her heart. The fire popped, sending a small spark into the air. Anna laughed lightly, reaching for her cup of cocoa. "It's strange," she said. "We've only known each other for a few hours, and yet I feel like I can tell you things I haven't said in years." Liam smiled. The mountains do that to people. They make strangers into friends quickly. And sometimes, friends into something more. Anna looked at him, startled by the words. Her cheeks warmed, and she looked down at her sketchbook. She felt a flutter in her chest, a feeling she hadn't expected when she came to the cabin for solitude. For a while, they shared silence, each lost in thoughts and memories. The fire crackled, casting shadows across the walls, and outside, the snow continued to fall gently, soft and peaceful. Anna picked up her pencil and began to sketch Liam quietly, trying not to be noticed. She captured the calm expression on his face, the way his hands rested on his knees, the soft curve of his smile. Liam glanced up and caught her looking at him. "What are you drawing?" he asked softly. Anna held the sketchbook closer, hiding her pencil. "Just, trying to remember this moment," she said. "It feels important." He nodded slowly, as if understanding completely. "Moments like this are rare. They don't come often. It's good you're capturing it." As the day wore on, the storm outside faded completely, leaving the mountains quiet and serene. Sunlight broke through the clouds, glinting on the snow and turning it into a sparkling sea of white. Anna and Liam stepped to the window, watching the world transformed by the storm. "This is beautiful," Anna said, her eyes wide. "The mountains, the snow, everything." Liam nodded, standing beside her. "It's always been beautiful. You just have to notice it. Sometimes, the snow makes you see things differently, things you wouldn't see on a normal day." Anna smiled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the fire. She looked at Liam and realized that the cabin, the mountains, and even the storm had brought them together. They shared memories, stories, and quiet moments, and with each passing hour, their trust in each other grew. As evening approached, Anna closed her sketchbook. She felt calmer than she had in months. Liam smiled at her, and for the first time, she felt safe sharing her thoughts without fear. The cabin, hidden in the snowy mountains, had become more than a retreat. It was a place where two hearts were beginning to open, slowly, gently, to each other. And as the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the snow, Anna realized that something in her life had shifted. The mountains had a way of changing people, and she knew that these days, snowbound and quiet, were only the beginning of a story she wanted to live. The morning sun filtered through the frost-covered windows, painting the cabin with a soft, pale light. Outside, the snow sparkled, undisturbed except for the tracks of small animals that had passed during the night. Inside, Anna and Liam were quietly preparing breakfast. The cabin smelled of toasted bread and pine, and the warmth from the fire made the small space feel welcoming. Anna reached for a jar of honey, but her hand slipped on the icy rim of the table. A small tin of salt tipped over, spilling across the floor. "Oh no," Anna murmured, bending to scoop it up. Liam quickly knelt beside her. "Here, let me help," he said gently, brushing the salt into a small pile with his hand. His fingers touched hers briefly, and for a moment, both froze. The warmth from the contact lingered, subtle but noticeable. Anna felt her cheeks grow warm, and she looked up at him, meeting his soft brown eyes. "Thank you," she said, her voice quieter than before. "You're welcome," Liam replied, smiling. "It's easy to get distracted in a cabin like this." They laughed softly, the sound mingling with the crackling fire. The tension of being snowbound seemed lighter now, replaced with a growing sense of comfort. Anna poured honey onto her toast, and Liam brewed more cocoa. They moved around each other naturally, as if they had shared the space for years, not only a few days. After breakfast, Liam suggested they clear the snow from the porch. Anna hesitated at first, but then agreed. Bundled in coats, hats, and gloves, they stepped into the bright, crisp morning. Snow crunched under their boots, and their breath formed clouds in the cold air. As they shoveled together, they shared stories of past winters. Anna spoke of her childhood, painting snow-covered fields and frozen streams, while Liam talked about exploring the mountains and learning the ways of the forest. The work was hard, but their laughter and conversation made it light. At one point, Anna slipped on a hidden patch of ice. Liam caught her quickly, wrapping an arm around her waist. "Careful," he said, steadying her. "I'm fine," Anna said, though her heart raced. She looked at him, realizing how natural it felt to lean on him, to trust him. The rest of the morning passed in a comfortable rhythm. They cleared snow, warmed themselves by the fire, and shared cocoa breaks. The cabin felt alive with quiet companionship, a bubble of warmth in a cold, white world. Later, as the storm's remnants drifted away, Anna took out her sketchbook again. She began to draw the scene outside the mountains, the trees, and the footprints they had left in the snow. Liam watched her quietly, noticing the concentration in her eyes and the gentle curve of her smile. "Can I see?" he asked softly. Anna handed the sketchbook to him. Liam studied the page, tracing the lines with his fingers. "This is amazing," he said. "You've captured the mountains perfectly, and me, I think." Anna laughed lightly, feeling a mix of embarrassment and pleasure. "Maybe just a little," she said. They spent the afternoon sharing stories and sketches, each learning more about the other. Anna admired Liam's quiet strength and gentle humor, while Liam was drawn to her curiosity and sensitivity. The cabin, once a simple place for retreat, had become a space where they were learning to care for each other. As evening approached, the light outside softened into shades of pink and gold. They moved near the fire again, letting the warmth fill the room. Liam handed Anna a cup of cocoa, and their hands brushed again. This time, neither pulled away quickly. "I feel comfortable here," Anna said, looking into the fire. "Not just with the cabin, but with you." Liam smiled, a gentle warmth in his eyes. "I feel the same," he admitted. "It's strange how a storm and a little snow can bring people together." Anna laughed softly. "Strange, but nice." The cabin grew quiet, except for the fire's soft crackle. Outside, the snow continued to blanket the mountains, turning the world into something magical. Inside, Anna and Liam sat close, sharing warmth and silent understanding. A bond had formed, delicate and new, like the first snowflakes of winter, fragile yet beautiful and full of promise. For the first time, Anna realized that being snowbound was no longer an inconvenience. It was an opportunity to connect, to trust, and perhaps, to begin something meaningful. And as the firelight danced across their faces, she felt the stirring of a connection that went beyond friendship, a quiet longing that neither of them needed to speak aloud yet. The storm had finally passed, leaving the mountains quiet and still. Snow blanketed the forest like a soft, white quilt, and the sunlight glinted off the frozen branches. Inside the cabin, the fire crackled warmly, filling the small space with a golden glow. Anna sat near the window, sketchbook in hand, watching the world outside. Her pencil moved slowly, tracing the soft lines of snow-covered trees and distant peaks. Liam was nearby, tending the fire and occasionally glancing out the window. The cabin had become their shared space, and in the quiet moments, Both felt a growing closeness. "Anna," Liam said after a while, breaking the comfortable silence. "Can I ask you something?" Anna looked up from her sketchbook, curious. "Of course," she said. Liam hesitated for a moment, as if searching for the right words. "Do you feel differently when you're here? With the mountains, the snow, and me?" Anna's heart skipped a beat. She looked down at her hands, her fingers brushing the pencil nervously. The question hung in the air, soft but heavy. She had felt it too, the warmth, the trust, the quiet comfort of being near Liam. I think I do," she admitted, her voice soft. "It's strange. I came here for solitude, to paint, to think, but now, being here with you, it feels different. Better." Liam's eyes softened, and a small smile curved his lips. "I feel the same. I wasn't expecting anyone here during the storm, but now. I'm glad you're here. More than I can say." Anna's cheeks flushed, and she looked out the window again, pretending to focus on the snow. But her thoughts were full of Liam, the way he moved around the cabin, his gentle voice, the way he had quietly shared stories and memories. She realized that she had been longing for someone who could understand her, someone who could share both silence and warmth. "I've never felt this way before," she admitted after a pause. "I've been alone in the mountains before, but I never thought I could feel so connected to someone so quickly." Liam moved closer, sitting across from her near the fire. "Sometimes, the right person appears when you least expect it. And sometimes, you just have to be brave enough to feel it." Anna looked at him, her eyes meeting his. There was honesty in his gaze, a quiet strength that made her heart feel lighter and warmer at the same time. "Liam, I think I like you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Liam's smile grew, soft and tender. "I like you too, Anna. More than I expected, more than I thought I would feel in a few days." The room seemed to grow warmer, the firelight dancing across their faces. Outside, the snow sparkled in the sunlight, a perfect reflection of the quiet happiness blooming inside the cabin. Anna felt her chest lift, a mix of relief and joy flooding her. She had not expected the storm to bring more than isolation, but now it had brought something far more meaningful: connection, trust, and the beginnings of love. They sat quietly for a few moments, letting the words sink in. No one needed to speak further, their eyes and smiles said everything. The cabin, once a place of solitude, had become a sanctuary where their hearts could meet without fear. Liam reached out, his hand brushing hers gently. Anna felt a shiver of warmth travel through her, not from the fire, but from the touch itself. She held his hand, squeezing it lightly, and the gesture spoke louder than words. "Anna," Liam said softly, "this storm may have trapped us here, but I don't feel trapped. I feel lucky. Lucky to have met you, lucky to be here with you." Anna smiled, her eyes shining. "I feel the same, Liam. Lucky, and happy." They leaned back in their chairs, hands still touching, letting the quiet comfort of the cabin and the mountains wrap around them. The fire flickered, casting shadows that danced across the walls, mirroring the warmth and light growing in their hearts. As evening approached, they moved closer to the window, watching the snow glisten in the fading sunlight. For the first time in a long while, both felt completely at peace. The mountains, the storm, and the cabin had brought them together in a way they had never imagined. And in that quiet moment, Anna realized something important: sometimes, the world gives you unexpected storms, but those storms can also bring the most beautiful beginnings. The sun rose slowly over the snow-covered mountains, casting a soft golden glow across the cabin. Outside, the storm had finally passed, leaving the world quiet and sparkling. Anna stood by the window, sipping her warm tea, while Liam checked the supplies near the door. "I think we should clear the path to the main road," Liam said thoughtfully. "The snow is deep, and if anyone comes looking for cabins, we want to make it easier to find." Anna nodded. "Yes, that's a good idea. It might be hard, but we can do it together." Bundled in their warm coats, hats, and gloves, they stepped outside. The snow glistened under the morning sun, untouched except for a few animal tracks. Anna took a deep breath, letting the crisp mountain air fill her lungs. The cold was sharp, but invigorating. They began shoveling the snow from the small path leading away from the cabin. Liam worked steadily, clearing large patches, while Anna followed, sweeping the smaller areas. The work was tiring, but they laughed at the occasional slip or snowball that fell from the trees. At one point, Anna's foot slipped on a hidden patch of ice, and she stumbled. Liam was immediately at her side, steadying her with his hand around her waist. "Careful," he said, his eyes filled with concern. "I'm okay," Anna said, laughing nervously, though her heart raced from the close contact. She noticed the warmth in his eyes, the quiet protection he offered, and felt a wave of trust and admiration. After a short break, they continued clearing the path. Liam pointed to a large branch that had fallen across the trail during the storm. "We need to move this together," he said. Anna nodded, and together they lifted the branch, balancing it carefully to avoid the deeper snow. The effort required teamwork, coordination, and patience. As they worked side by side, their hands brushed occasionally, sending small sparks of warmth through both of them. When the path was finally clear, they stood together, looking at the long stretch of white that led from the cabin to the road. Anna wiped the sweat from her brow and smiled. "We did it," she said. "Yes," Liam replied, his eyes meeting hers. "Together." They walked back to the cabin, their steps leaving prints in the snow. Anna felt a quiet pride, not just in the work they had done, but in the way they had worked together, trusting, supporting, and understanding each other. It was more than a path in the snow, it was a symbol of their growing connection. Inside, they warmed themselves by the fire and shared cocoa. Anna picked up her sketchbook and began to draw the cleared path, adding details of their footprints and the sunlight glinting on the snow. Liam watched her quietly, impressed by the way she captured both the scene and the feelings it carried. "You make everything look so beautiful," he said softly. Anna smiled, a little shy. "I just try to capture what I see, and what I feel." Liam nodded, understanding. "It shows. You don't just see the mountains, you feel them. And maybe, you feel more than just the mountains." Anna's cheeks warmed, and she looked down at her sketchbook. The words lingered in her mind, a quiet acknowledgement of the bond that had grown between them over the past few days. Later, as the afternoon faded into evening, they stepped outside again. The sky was painted with soft shades of pink and gold, and the mountains glowed in the light. Snowflakes drifted lazily from the trees, untouched and delicate. Anna and Liam stood together, watching the quiet world. "I never expected this," Anna said softly. "The mountains, the storm, and finding someone to share it with. It feels like a story, a real story I didn't know I was living." Liam smiled, his hand brushing hers lightly. "Sometimes the best stories are the unexpected ones. And the ones that come from working together, facing challenges, and trusting each other." Anna looked at him, seeing the honesty and warmth in his gaze. She realized that the cabin, the mountains, and even the storm had brought them together in a way she hadn't imagined. She felt safe, valued, and cared for. And more than that, she felt that this was only the beginning of something meaningful. As night fell, they returned to the cabin, the fire glowing warmly. They sat together, sharing quiet conversation and laughter. The bond they had strengthened through snow and teamwork had grown deeper, a quiet certainty forming in their hearts. And as the stars began to twinkle over the snowbound mountains, Anna knew one thing clearly: sometimes, facing challenges together could create a connection stronger than anything she had ever known. The morning sun shone brightly over the snow-covered mountains, turning every branch, roof, and snowdrift into a sparkling white landscape. The storm was gone, leaving a quiet calm that stretched as far as the eye could see. The cabin, once hidden beneath layers of snow, now stood surrounded by soft, untouched snow, a perfect winter picture. Anna stepped outside, breathing in the crisp air. Her cheeks were pink from the cold, and her heart felt light and full. She looked at Liam, who was stacking the last pieces of firewood near the cabin door. His hair was dusted with snow, and his eyes held the calm, steady warmth she had grown to trust and care for. "Good morning," Liam said with a soft smile. "It's beautiful out here today." Anna nodded, letting her gaze sweep over the mountains. "It really is. I've never seen anything like it. The snow, the light, everything feels perfect." They spent the morning clearing the last traces of the storm, making the path to the road neat and safe. Each step, each movement, was calm and natural. Anna and Liam worked together easily, their laughter echoing across the mountains, blending with the soft sound of wind through the trees. After their work was done, they stood at the edge of the cabin porch, looking at the trail they had made. The sun reflected off the snow, creating a sparkling pathway that seemed to lead into a new world. Anna turned to Liam, her heart full of warmth and courage. "I never expected this winter to be like this," she said softly. "I came here thinking I would be alone, thinking I needed space to paint and think. But I found more than I expected. I found someone I can trust, someone who makes even the coldest snow feel warm." Liam's smile deepened. He stepped closer, taking her hand in his. "I feel the same, Anna. I didn't expect the storm to bring anyone here, but you came, and now, it feels like this place has always been waiting for us both." Anna squeezed his hand gently. The bond they had formed over the past days through stories, laughter, shared work, and quiet moments felt solid and real. The mountains had been their witness, and the storm had been their guide. "I want to stay longer," Anna said, her voice bright with hope. "I want to paint, to experience this, and to be here with you. Maybe not just for a few days, but for a season, maybe longer." Liam's eyes lit up. "I would like that," he said. "You've brought life to this cabin in a way I never imagined. I'd be happy to have you here, for as long as you want." They walked slowly down the path they had cleared, leaving fresh footprints in the snow. Every step felt lighter, freer, as if the mountains themselves were celebrating the connection they had formed. Anna looked at Liam and smiled, realizing that their hearts had grown together during the storm, strengthened by trust, patience, and shared experiences. By midday, they returned to the cabin. The fire was already warm, and sunlight streamed through the windows, painting the walls in gold. Anna picked up her sketchbook, and Liam leaned beside her, watching her draw. She captured the mountains, the sunlight, and the snow, but this time, she also sketched the feeling in her heart: peace, joy, and the quiet warmth of love. Liam pointed to one sketch. "This one," he said softly, "shows everything. The mountains, the snow, and the happiness we've found together." Anna smiled, leaning against him slightly. "It's more than the mountains, Liam. It's everything we shared here. The storm, the work, the quiet moments, it all brought us together." As evening approached, they stepped outside once more. The mountains glowed in the soft light of the setting sun, and the snow shimmered like crystals. They held hands, walking slowly, feeling the cold snow beneath their boots and the warmth of each other's presence. Anna looked at Liam, her heart full of certainty. "This is only the beginning, isn't it?" she asked. Liam smiled and nodded. "Yes, Anna. The mountains brought us together, but now, we can write our own story. One step at a time, side by side." They paused at the edge of the snowy path, watching the mountains stretch endlessly before them. The wind whispered gently, carrying the promise of new days, new adventures, and shared moments. Anna rested her head lightly against Liam's shoulder, feeling completely at home in the quiet, snowbound world they had discovered together. And in that serene, sparkling moment, Anna knew that the storm had given her more than just a winter retreat. It had given her warmth, trust, and love, a connection that would last far beyond the mountains and the snow. The sun dipped behind the peaks, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and gold. Anna and Liam turned back to the cabin, hearts intertwined, ready to begin a new chapter together, in a place where snow, mountains, and love had united them forever.